Open Your Eyes is brought to you by the Belize Bank. Our country, your bank.
To Open Your Eyes.
Start your morning right. I am John Palacio.
And I'm Marlene Cuellar, and thank you for joining us this morning.
Easy. Wow, it feels sort of cool out there, but I can feel the heat to a certain extent, and I feel like I look like Panadis with this color shirt. Nonetheless, the weather is beautiful. We'll be taking a look at the weather shortly, so you know exactly how to deal with your day and what's going to happen within the next 24 hours. All right? So that and more right here on, oh yeah, Open Your Eyes. Yeah. So we've got our forecaster on the line.
That's right.
All right, forecaster Michelle, good morning.
Good morning.
And how is you?
I am fine, and you?
We're doing great. But I'll tell you what, with the good news that you're about to tell us about some cold front, I'm guessing here, we're going to be better. What's the general situation?
You must be psychic, right?
I try. Tell us, what's going to happen?
So for today and tonight, we can expect fair weather conditions to prevail. Okay. And that means mostly sunny skies today and partly cloudy skies tonight with little or no rainfall expected.
All right, so winds?
Winds will be from the east to southeast during the daytime today at about 5 to 15 knots. And then tonight we see an increase in winds, 15 to 25 knots.
Oh, cool. That should mean low and high temperatures looking good. What's the highs and lows for today?
Highs we can expect about 88 Fahrenheit along the coast, 93 Fahrenheit inland, and about 83 Fahrenheit up in the hills.
For tonight?
Tonight along the coast, 80 Fahrenheit can be expected, 72 Fahrenheit inland, and up in the hills about 66 Fahrenheit.
All right. So I'm looking at the extended forecast, but I'm also seeing advisories here. Let's touch the advisory before we get to the extended forecast.
Okay, in terms of the winds, as I said earlier, we expect the wind speed to pick up a bit late this evening and overnight, and at least up to 25 knots. Higher gusts are possible, so a small craft warning will go into effect late this evening or tonight, no? Or by tonight for sure.
All right, so that means small craft warning goes into effect. All right, and so the extended forecast, what should we expect over the next 24 hours?
All right, for tomorrow during the daytime, mainly fair weather will continue, a bit on the warm side, so along the coast, temperatures might go up a degree or two for tomorrow. And then late tomorrow evening and into tomorrow night, we expect a few showers along with isolated thunderstorms to develop over the interior at first, over inland areas, and then work its way along the coast by Friday morning. And that is in tandem with a cold front that we expect to approach.
Yeah. I don't hang out with my sweater, I just want you to know.
Okay, now, Michelle, when we watch what's happening north of us, you say cold front, and this time I get a bit nervous. How low are we going?
Well, for Friday, because we'll be having rain on Friday, we expect about 73 along the coast or 66 inland. But by Saturday morning, we see mid to upper 60s for the coast, and then inland about 60 or 62. And definitely in the hills, it will drop below 60 Saturday morning. So the coolest morning right now looks like Saturday. And then Sunday, it's supposed to still be a bit cool.
Okay. All right. Well, I know we're way ahead, but I just had to be sure because I've been watching what's happening.
Yeah, this one definitely requires a sweater, I believe. This one will be sweater weather.
All right. So we'll take the rain before the cool.
All right, Michelle, well, we want to thank you so very much. Like I told you, I already have my sweaters hanging up, ready and set. Do enjoy your day.
You too, thanks.
Bye.
All right, so now we know exactly what to expect when it comes to this weather.
So get your raincoat out and your sweater.
And
You're going to need both very soon. All right, we're going to keep things moving this morning with our eye opener. And our eye opener, taken from dailyom.com, goes like this. The drama in some people's lives can serve as excitement, prompting the body to manufacture adrenaline, producing a pleasurable surge of energy. There are scores of people in the world who seem to be magnets for calamity. They live their lives jumping from one difficult situation to the next, surrounded by unstable individuals. Some believe themselves victims of fate and decry a universe they regard as malevolent. Others view their chaotic circumstances as punishments for some failing within. Yet, in truth, neither group has been fated or consigned to suffer. They're likely unconsciously drawing drama into their lives, attracting catastrophe through their choices, attitudes, and patterns of thought. Drama, however disastrous, can be exciting and stimulating. When you confront your emotional response to drama and the purpose it serves in your life, you can reject it. Each time you consciously choose not to take part in dramatic situations or associate with dramatic people, you create space in your inner being that is filled with a calm and tranquil stillness and becomes an asset in your quest to lead a more centered life.
Marlene, I'm right there at the tail end of this. I prefer to be drama-free. But I do accept it at times because then it allows me to change the train of thought. When it comes to drama, and I like the way it's being placed into the eye opener. Drama is sometimes the drama in people's lives can serves as excitement. There are a lot of people who it's exciting. It's like the mighty USA. Whenever there is a new show, it's always based on that drama. That's where it sells. The drama, the drama, the drama. For a lot of people in their daily lives, and I'll give myself again as an example, it's not something that I gravitate to. I really and truly don't like it. I prefer to be exactly what the eye-opener said in the bottom. I prefer each time you consciously choose not to take part in dramatic situations or associate with dramatic people, you create space in your inner being that is filled with a calm and tranquil stillness and becomes an asset in your quest to lead a more centered life.
Yeah.
While I accept it, I prefer what it says in the bottom because I prefer to be calm and tranquil in my inner life. That's just that's how I feel.
And for me, I think the eye opener really nails one thing. It's talking about the drama that you choose to participate in, and you may not know you're doing it. You may not know that you are actively participating in situations that's just creating more drama in your life. And that's why and things are going to happen sometimes that are going to upset the status quo in your life, what you've been used to, and you're going to have to rise to those occasions. You're going to have but I love when it talks about the adrenaline that gets pumping.
Yes.
And that's very different, when things happen as the universe lays out its plans for you, that's one thing. But if you find yourself kind of just hopping from one thing to the next, then you got to stop and check yourself and find out, what am I doing? The common denominator here is one thing. What am I doing? And maybe I need to assess whether it's who I'm keeping around me or what I'm choosing to do or how I make my decisions.
Yeah. And I love the way you summed that up there, who you choose to keep around you. And some folks might not even notice that, just like you mentioned, I continue to create this drama and I don't even know. It's because of what you've got around you, your surroundings. And you need to learn to wean those out, as much as you're learning from it, because everything is a learning pattern. It's a learning matter. You need to learn to wean that out. You're there wondering why this is happening. Your surrounding, So that's my thought about it. This is a very good eye-opener. It's a very good one for a Wednesday, while we head up into the weekend. But great one there, Mar.
Yeah,
great
absolutely.
one there. But nonetheless, so one of the things that struck out to me yesterday, I leave back because I'm not going to call for it. But nonetheless, it was mentioned that somebody that I hold dear to me, I learn everything that I do on here because of that person, is now the CEO of GBTV, Great Belize TV. And that's none other than Marlene Cuellar. And I've got to say congratulations to you. Utmost congratulations. I'm excited for you. I could recall celebrating with Miss Maya and making mention of, you know, in order for a ship to go across there must be a very great captain. And very great captains are actually spotted by very good people. And that's exactly where we are at this particular point. Marlene, once again, congratulations to you. What is your thought? How are you feeling? What's the move?
Yeah. Well, I think for one, I'm honored. I hold this company absolutely dear to me. I've been a part of Channel 5 for so long. I think longer than people think. We always joke about it. Yes. My first introduction to television was on Channel 5. I was like 10, 11 when I did my first live interview on shows here and documentaries with the very same team here as a child. So I've been around a lot longer. But when making this decision, one of the things that really stood out to me was that there's a reason why I have been with this company for so long, and that's because I believe in what it has the capacity to do, and I've worked along with the team here to see the amazing work that they're able to output. We say it all the time, and I really just have to underscore it. There is a small, extremely dedicated staff here at Channel 5 that just has a drive and already have a vision as to what they want to accomplish. And so to be the team leader here is something that I look forward to. Clearly, there is a direction that we will be moving. We've been the leading in the industry for so long, but you don't hold that lead by just sitting tight. We got to move forward, and we have to be able to put all the plans in place to get there. And I'm really excited to be a part of that journey. I worked with both Stuart Crone and Amalia Mai, the past leaders before me, and I know without a doubt that they've set such a solid foundation, and the expectations are high.
Definitely.
So I think you know one thing about me, that I don't shy away from hard work.
No, you don't.
And if the time comes to just put your all into it, I'm all gung-ho for it. And that's where I am right now.
Definitely. And I'll tell you what, we're looking forward to, myself being a part of Channel 5, we're looking forward to some great sales. We know for a fact that there will be some serious headwinds. We know that there'll be some serious waves. But the greatest thing about it, though, is that you've been there, done that. And for that reason, I could always say that when it comes to leadership, quality, it's A plus. Exactly where I want to go. When it comes to, and we won't be long with this. We know that we've got a show. But when it comes to the headwinds, in terms of dealing with the highs.
Yeah.
What's the plan there, and what's the future?
Yeah. Well, I think right now, Channel 5, like all other companies, we're feeling the extent of the pandemic, the economic crisis from the pandemic, and or customers or clients, they're in the same boat. So it is a matter of being able to work along with them to ensure that we can keep the services going, the relationships solid. And of course, we have that end of our customer base, but the other customer base are people at home, the people who have consistently chosen us, whether it's to open their eyes, or for the news at night, or for entertainment shows, and all the other quality programming that we've always brought to them. So it's ensuring that they still have that same quality, that they can look forward to some new, innovative ideas as well. I'm really excited about that. And, and on that note, I know that I got a lot of calls of people saying, I don't know if we want to see you off here yet. I'm not going to disappear from in front of the camera as yet. So that is going to be gradual. We have built a relationship for 15 years, almost 15 years. And it would be a disservice for me to just disappear from your homes. You honored me by choosing to welcome me and the station into your home, and I won't just disappear. So I'll still be here with John and Gavin and Asani in the morning, and I'll be doing some of the news as well, and you will get to slowly adjust to not seeing me on screen.
Definitely. So there you have it. The news again has been broken, and everybody got it. For those who missed it last night, Marlene Cuellar is now the CEO of Great Belize TV, Channel 5. Once again, big
It was
congratulations.
a great day yesterday. The staff, we got the opportunity to really say thank you and farewell to our former
Amalia,
CEO,
yeah,
Amalia Mai.
yeah.
You've worked with her. You know that she is
Yes.
someone who was really the driver behind the company with all that you saw on air.
Yeah.
And so it was a very bittersweet moment. But I've been working along with her for a long time too, and so I have seen firsthand just the amount of work that it takes to be able to get this going.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so we said thank you, and we'll say that publicly as well. We appreciate the work that she's done.
Oh man, we will eventually, as soon as things calm with respect to COVID, we'll grab some champagne.
Yeah. All right, well, we got to get moving into our show. There's work
Indeed,
to do.
we've got to go. We have got 3 segments lined up for you. As a matter of fact, the first one is going to be with the unions. Opinion on the proposed salary cuts to GOB officers. Now, that's going to be a conversation that a lot of folks are actually looking forward to, so that's going to be the first conversation this morning.
All right, and then, there was a very big case that was resolved in the courts a few weeks ago, and that was looking at the police officers who fought to maintain their dreadlocks. It was a very big issue. It was a part of what was in their protocol for the department.
Yeah.
Clearly, times have changed, and people are a lot more cognizant of respecting people's different beliefs.
Yeah.
And so we're actually going to talk to some of these officers to find out what this case means for them.
All right. And in our final segment this morning, we had a great sit down with Carlos Perote,
Yeah.
Miss Karen Vernon, and Mr. Castillo on Valentine and Jazzy Valentine special. But it was also a competition. So I'll tell you what. In our third segment this morning, they'll be revealing to us exactly who the winners are from that competition. So we'll be joined by Karen and Carlos in our third segment for this morning. So we've got to take the break, but just before we do, we've got a birthday shout out. Woo! And we want to say a happy birthday to none other than Tamika Swift. Tamika, happy birthday to you from all of us right here at Channel 5, all of us here on Opening Rides, and of course your entire family. You're looking lovely. All right. So we take the break. When we come back, we'll be jumping into our first conversations with the unions. So stay with us. We'll be right back.
Es un hecho que puedes obtener servicios ilimitados con Smart. ¿Cansado de que se corte la línea cuando más necesitas estar conectado? Es un hecho que cuando te suscribes al plan de Smart Plus, obtienes llamadas, textos y datos ilimitados. Y también es un hecho que te puedes suscribir con un grupo de 5 miembros al plan Smart Share y hasta 40 miembros al plan Smart Enterprise para llamadas, textos y datos ilimitados. Smart tiene los verdaderos planes ilimitados. Es un hecho. Sé Smart y vive de forma Smart.
Hola, Tony.
Hey Kevin, ¿qué onda? ¿Qué pasa?
Nada, le vine a buscar porque necesito comprar más mercancías de vasos y platos desechables para mi tienda de comestible. Me estoy quedando sin esas cosas.
No, hombre, fíjate que desde el 15 de abril no puedo importar nada de eso. Y se me acaba de terminar todo lo que tenía hace como 3 semanas.
Oye, pero nunca has estado sin esas cosas. ¿Qué está pasando?
Mira esto. Esta es la nueva ley que prohíbe todo el uso de plásticos no reutilizables. Esos son vasos, platos, cucharas, tenedores, todo eso. Desde 15 de abril de este año no he podido importar nada de eso. A partir del 15 de enero del 2021 nadie puede fabricarlo. 15 de abril 2021 nadie lo puede vender. Y a partir del 14 de julio del 2021 si alguien te agarra con eso, te multan.
Híjole, no sabía eso. Necesito cambiar algunas cosas. Les diré a mis clientes por qué esas cosas ya no están disponibles. Gracias, Antonio.
Así es, cuídate.
Keeping safe from COVID-19 at your workplace requires 100% teamwork. You can keep earning while keeping yourself and others safe by doing some basic things. Wear a face mask at all times in the workplace unless you are alone in your own private space or office. Wash your hands frequently or utilize alcohol-based hand sanitizers and avoid touching your face. Disinfect surfaces like doorknobs, tables, desks, and handrails regularly. Increase ventilation by opening windows or adjusting air conditioning. Limit visitors and deliveries to the workplace and use appointments where possible. Attend meetings virtually as much as possible, and when not possible, hold meetings in open, well-ventilated spaces or rooms that allow for everyone to be 6 feet apart. Stay at home if you or a family member at home are feeling sick, or if you have been in contact with someone who tested positive for COVID-19. Keeping the workplace safe also requires that employees act responsibly when away from work. Practice social distancing and good hand-washing hygiene. Avoid large gatherings and avoid unnecessary exposure to others. Protecting others means protecting yourself. Together, we can defeat COVID.
In partnership with the British High Commission.
And we'll be back in a few, so stay tuned. Thanks, Jen. Hey there, we know you have to head out to work shortly, but don't forget that you can stay tuned by watching us on our Facebook live stream. Find us at Open Your Eyes BC, and you can continue watching there. You can also download Facebook Watch on your streaming device, and you can watch at your own convenience.
And for all the behind-the-scenes fun, follow us on Instagram at OYEBelize. So,
find us
and follow us
today.
Welcome back to Open Your Eyes. We're moving now into our first segment for the morning. Conversation we've been looking forward to. Then again, it's with the union's opinion on proposed salary cuts to GOB officers. Now, in with us to talk about it, we have Gerald Henry, who is the president of the Public Service Union, and also Sharon Fraser, who is the president of the Association of Public Sector Senior Managers. Guys, good morning and welcome.
Good morning, John.
Good morning.
Marlene.
Hey.
And we want to jump directly into this conversation. I mean, you know, we've been hearing about it, but at the same time, we know what the current situation is across the country and across the world, actually. And I'd like to get your thoughts. Let's start with you, Mr. President, Mr. Henry, in terms of what the financial situations are at this particular point and what the unions are expecting.
All right. I would like to say good morning once again to yourself, John. Marlene, congratulations on your new appointment as CEO. I actually didn't expect to see you on air this morning, but it's still a pleasure to see you, of course, no? Yeah. So, John, as it relates to the proposed salary cuts, in the discussion that we had with the team from the government, not the government side, there was no discussion as it relates to anything having to do with salary cuts. I want to say that first of all. No, I'm not sure if Sister Fraser had that same experience, but from the PSU side, we had no discussions relating to that specific topic. But what I would like to say about it, though, is that I think we have also been hearing that the government has been saying that they are going to or have taken a 10% cut themselves. Now, whether that is a precursor to us or to suggesting that they will be coming to public officers for a salary cut, I cannot say. But one of the things that I certainly want to see if I can bring some comfort to our public officers is that one of the things that certainly came out with in our meeting with the government is that the Honorable Deputy Prime Minister made a statement that it was such a distinct statement that the Minister of Education wrote down the phrase that he used, no, and it spoke to that whatever actions that will be taken must be equitable, right? And he mentioned that that word certainly stood out in my mind. And if it is that they are going to or have taken a 10% salary cut, then certainly the equity would demand that public officers would not be required to take the same quantum of salary cut. No, they would have to take less than 10%. And so if that would bring some sort of relief to our public officers, because we have been hearing numbers calling out such as 15% and all the way up to 20%, right? So that is pretty much all I would have to say about that at this time, considering, like I said, we had no discussion on a salary cut.
Was it something that was just off the table? Because when you go into the budget consultations, the expectation is that you talk through all the possible options.
If I can respond to that.
Go ahead.
While it is, from our perspective, they highlighted the almost $500 million deficit in the budget. Like with the meetings with PSU, there wasn't a definite discussion on salary cuts. Clearly, though, we were left with the understanding that the deficit needs to be closed. The issue of the bloated salary, money spent on salary was discussed, but in terms of percentage, and it's not because we didn't ask. We asked what, if they had any idea of what it is they were looking at, and that at all was not raised. In fact, the last thing that was said was that all the recommendations, all the suggestions would be taken to cabinet, and they would have follow-up meetings so that, in fact, this consultation process that they've engaged in will continue before a final decision is going to be taken. In fact, one of the things we asked for was, show us the figures, give us the data, give us what we need so that we can do for ourselves the analysis of the figures and to see what is going to work or what will not work, or what will, in terms of, I know constantly you've been hearing about the cost saving measures that we have recommended, and our take was, show us the figures. That is the only way, because I know that I heard the Prime Minister say that, oh, the cost saving measures will, my words, be a drop in the bucket. It won't bring the deficit any closer. But we don't know that. We don't know that because we have not been shown the figures. I know that for the longest while, the unions, and President Henry can attest to the fact that we've been asking for those measures that have already been taken. We've been asking, show us what is the result of it. And we really have not gotten it, but this is the time that, in fact, they could very well show us what those figures are. We can do the analysis, we can see the figures, and then after the figures are being shown, we see where the deficit still is, and then we can consider other suggestions and make other suggestions and recommendations. So I can say that, in fact, like President Henry, that any talk of any percentage of salary cut was really discussed with us, except what is the financial situation of the country.
Sorry, yeah. I'd imagine that even if the government hasn't presented a proposal of salary cuts, that you internally perhaps have been discussing what you are willing or not willing to accept. I know, Gerald, in previous conversations with the PSU, you've said right here on this show that it's not something that you don't acknowledge may have to be done. Is there a formula in your mind that you think people would be more amenable to accepting? And I mean the members of your unions.
Right. Yes. Sister Praise, I from the PSU perspective, the only way that I see that our members would be amenable would be that all efforts outside of salary cuts would have to be taken first now, meaning that all of our recommendations for the cost savings measures and the revenue enhancement practices and so on would have to be implemented first. Reason being that if those are not done, then the brunt of the gap that as Sister Fraser mentioned a while ago that needs to be filled would have to come from the salaries of public officers. However, let's say that amounts to 20%. However, if the cost savings measures and revenue enhancement measures were put into place, then that gap would be narrowed down whatever figure, but they have to prove it, as Sister Fraser mentioned, which was also PSU's position, that they have to give us the figures in order for us to do our own analysis, and then we could present those to our membership in order to get the buy-in that would be necessary, you know, to sort of cushion the blow to our public officers, no? But certainly that's the only considerations that we would have. First and foremost, to even start thinking about, you know, the salary cuts. So there's not necessarily a formula that we are looking at. It's just that we need to have all of those recommendations implemented first of all. Then we see what those produce, how much it closes the gap, and then we move on to considering what would be done, you know, on the public officers, from the public officers standpoint, to, you know, to close the rest of the gap.
Ms. Shar, would you share the same sentiment in terms of a formula to curb this one with the group that you represent?
Well, we didn't look at the formula either. Our position was that we needed the empirical data. We needed to look to see, of all the things that have been proposed, what it is going to, how close it's going to fill the gap, and thereafter, then we look at the other options. We are not hard and fast as a union and association on the fact that there shouldn't be any salary cuts. We have acknowledged that a huge portion of the budget is spent on salaries. We acknowledge that. We're not running away from that. But in fact, the general position of our members is that and remember, that is not our first position. It is the last position that, in fact, we would want to consider. But if it's done, while there are persons talking about cutting it across the board, we also are considering the adverse action that it would have on public officers at the lower salary brackets, so that it might cause an additional economic burden on the society if it is that cross-the-board cut might take place. So if it is, it comes to that, I would hope that the government sit with us and speak to us in relation to a formula or an implementation process or policy, because it can't be that, in fact, as I said, you need to set some thresholds.
Yes.
As far as that is concerned, rather than across the board, since in our view, it would severely affect the lower ranks of the service. So we are not running away from it. In fact, when the last time they proposed cuts, HODs willingly gave up, decided, in fact, they were prepared to give up 100% of a particular allowance. I'm not going to call the name of the allowance because people have misread what the allowance is about, but they were willing to give it up, providing certain things were put in place. So we are being responsible. We are looking at, clearly we don't want any public officer to be sent home. So that is why we're prepared to be an active partner in trying to figure out how to bring this $500 million deficit down. So we are prepared.
I'm glad you mentioned the issue of a threshold, because very often, and you know this is a public debate that is ongoing when you talk about whether or not there should be a salary cut for public officers. And you can get examples from both ends. You can get people who are on the higher end of the pay scale, who from outside looking in, people say, okay, they can manage with a cut. And then you have the stories of people on the lower end of the pay scale who you can only imagine that with a 10, a 15, or 20% cut may end up having to apply for some of the same assistance programs that the government has to pay for as well. So recognizing that it's not the same reality for all is a key factor here. But you sat with the ministers and the team that led the discussion. Do you get a sense of openness to work out this solution together?
Well, I did. From the group that went to the minister, I would say that the meeting went very well. They were open. They listened. They didn't give up too much information, except for the state of the economy, but they listened. And of course, I want to emphasize the promise that was given to us by the Deputy Prime Minister of consultation and continued consultation, so that any decision that is to be taken, it would mean that they would then come back to the union, and the promise was, rather than separately, together, so that in fact there is no misconception of what one is saying, or the whole issue of the divide and conquer rule that is also floating out there. So I'm hoping that they all seem to be honorable men that will stand behind their promise, and that at short quarters after their consultation, they'll be coming back to us in terms of what they have come up with and how we can work together. This is a team effort. And it's not that as public officers, especially senior managers, we are not aware of the economic situation. We're very much aware of it. And we know the time has come now to look at certain things that we have been clamoring for years. So it doesn't have necessarily rest on one administration over the other. We've been asking for certain things for years, like for instance, salary register, to know the amount of public officers that have been are employed, by the public service, because that is what is also affecting the size of the budget in terms of salary of paying to public officers. At the same time, if you do what is known as a desk audit, it might also weed out some of the double payments, the ghost workers, the other things that we know exist, except it seemed on some quarters to be taboo, right? So it's not that we are not aware. Public officers, we are aware. But this is the time now to extensively look at these issues in order to bring this deficit small as best as we can.
Let's look at some of the measures that we think might be working. I'd like to ask both of you your piece in this, because you guys have both made recommendations to our folks, but at the same time, are they taking these recommendations, and what are the ones that you feel are working? Let's start with you, Mr. Henry.
I am not certain exactly which ones they have actually implemented at this point, John. it was not revealed to us as far as my recollection goes. No, all that was said was that, as Sister Fraser mentioned a while ago, that whatever they were looking at in terms of the cost savings, I don't think they were referring to the revenue enhancement side, because they were focusing on expenditure. But the Prime Minister had mentioned that I believe it was 1% that it would accumulate to, know. So we wish that we would have been seeing some of the more visible approaches or recommendations that we made, such as the vehicles being parked and so on, government vehicles that don't require, or the post that they are assigned to is not an emergency officer or someone who would need to get up in the wee hours of the night and attend to some issue that is happening now. That those would be parked, that maybe we could see some carpooling start to happen. Those things like that would be visible to us. We're just not seeing that. I continue to see vehicles on the highways with family members loaded in the vehicle on the weekends. So unfortunately, like I said, we're not seeing those things happening as yet.
Sharon?
Okay, so if I can add, in terms of the cost saving measures, since I've been involved in this process from day one, and I want to tell you that the cost saving measures and the committee and the revenue enhancement was in fact a recommendation coming out of the unions, the joint unions. So I will definitely take credit for the unions coming up with that. Why in fact this would have worked is because the very officers who are working the system were the persons giving the recommendations on how we could have closed up the gaps, how we could have saved money. Simple things like turning off lights once leaving the office was a simple thing. When you look at the electricity bill, when you look at the telephone bills, and yes, from the cost saving measures, some of the suggestions have been taken. For example, the phone, the issue of the phone, they had implemented a card system. Now, what is the savings? That I cannot tell you because that was not shared with us. In relation to fuel for government vehicles, those recommendations was also taken when in fact they implemented the card system, so that you were given a card attached to a vehicle and attached to a person. So you needed to put in a specific code, and that way they could trace. And I will tell you, because it has happened to me, somebody who is assigned to a government vehicle, if it is that you put in the wrong code, or it is that the mileage is not matching up with the amount of fuel that you got, it will reject it. It will reject your card. Not that that is what happened to me. It was a putting in error in terms of the mileage. But that has been put in place. What has been the savings, I cannot tell you, because that has not been shared with us. So I can identify two particular areas in which, coming out of the cost savings report, the first cost saving report, there have been three. They've implemented some things. Others, I'm not sure. There might have been others that have been implemented, and we just are not aware of what they are, despite the fact that we repeatedly were asking for them. In terms of revenue enhancement, we made several suggestions on how it is we could close the gap, we could increase revenue enhancement. One of them was looking at the whole tax structure in terms of collection. Imagine, and I will use myself as an example. I'm an attorney by trade, sitting as chief magistrate, right? So I'm a public officer. I pay 25% income tax, personal income tax, while my colleagues who have come back same time with me, same training, pay 6%.
Wow.
So it's not equal, right? And that's because I'm giving to the service, I'm giving to the public, and I am paying 25%, right? So that is one of the suggestions we had made, and a continuous. Now, one could debate until King Hatchet turned back a hammer in relation to that, but I'm just giving you examples. One of our members from APSSM gave the suggestion, and we gave that to the ministers, of imposing a road user. You know, like you go to the States and there is a toll, and monies that are collected from that could go towards road maintenance. We've given that suggestion. It can work. There was a study that was done, and that can also help that we can, that money can be used rather than taking out money out of the consolidated funds to fix roads. You've heard constantly since this new administration have come in about the neglect of roads and whatever. We've spent millions of dollars on roads, and we have nothing set aside for maintenance of those roads. Right? And you might say, well, why is that important? Road deals with trade, trade deals with earning of money, and you can work it. You can work it to see how it affects every single person if the roads are not proper, because it means that persons have to spend more money on their vehicles. It means that business persons have to, they will attach whatever cost it is to their transportation cost, to the cost of goods. And I can go on in relation to that, but I just wanted you to know that we've been making suggestions. This suggestion of this road user fee has been around since 2019. I think that is when they told me that the study was done. So there are things that, yes, it might not be immediate, but it could be medium, going into the medium long term solution to enhancing revenue and taking less out of the consolidated funds, right? And making the pie a little bit easier to distribute, because then you don't have to worry about certain things, right? So those are some of the things.
And one of the things that we also hear, and not just from the unions, also from the private sector, is talking about being more aggressive with tax collection. You know, you dutifully pay your 25%, like all of us, because it's taken out of your salaries. But there are many who are very easily evade the system.
Right.
Yes, for sure.
That's true.
Go ahead.
No, I was just saying that that's true, and I think Brother Flowers, I don't have the numbers, but he was crunching the numbers, and you know, it wasn't looking good in terms of the amount of people who are actually paying taxes, you know, their fair share of taxes in the country right now. And I believe that you know, shortly PSU will be you know, releasing some of, or sharing some of those figures after Brother Flowers has done his analysis now. But it's definitely a very critical issue that we need to look at, and there has to be at some point discussions, you know, in regards to tax reform, as Sister Fraser mentioned a while ago. You know, that it is certainly unfair and inequitable to have those who are making the most, and actually she added another category to that, which would be the fact that we are actually providing a service to this country, and we still end up paying more. Certainly that cannot be fair as well, no? And so there has to be some discussion in the future, and hopefully the very near future, to start to look at tax reform, right? And it has to be the way forward, I would believe, because you know, the revenue enhancement is actually a large part of closing that gap. as well. No, it's not only the expenditure side.
Yeah. You know, it's a tough time in general, and it's also a tough time to be having this conversation. Two things I think we must acknowledge. One is that the deficit that we have today, while we can definitely agree that a contributing factor is the pandemic, the economy was not healthy pre-pandemic. So we're just, it was a devastating blow at that point. So it's important that we have a critical look of systems and structures that are either not being implemented, and one of those things is looking at the current commission of inquiry that is ongoing. And I want to give, you know, acknowledge that the unions were the one who brought this forward. You pointed out that there was this cheap sale, fire sale. I mean, in some cases, it feels like a giveaway of government assets. And you raised the flag, and hence we have the commission of inquiry. But now there are more eyes watching what's happening within the public service sector and how this is even able to happen. Gerald, you want to chime in there?
Yes, Marlene. Yeah, so certainly as you mentioned a while ago, that the pandemic did, you know, bring to light, you know, the fact that we were in, we were already strained in terms of the country's financial position, no? And just to link that with the previous discussion that we had about taxes, is that during the pandemic, the government was able to collect 70% of the revenues. This, which 92% was from taxable revenues. We know that we need to know what accounts for the 92%, right? And whether this came from the pay as you earn, which would be our salaries and so on, or the salaries of individuals, no? That that taxes are removed from. The custom and stamp duties and excise tax from fuel, which we know generates almost 50% in taxes, has been used extensively by GOB to meet its cash flows. Now what portion of applies to GST, and which is based on the numbers, doesn't seem to be much, right? And so it appears that there is indeed some tax evasion that has been taking place, and that needs to be that loophole needs to be closed as quickly as possible, because there is definitely a lot of tax out there to collect. So although the government seemed to have been functioning well during the COVID pandemic, you know, it's not adding up, right? And so we need to get some more figures and to find out exactly what is happening there, in order for us to, you know, to have a more effective tax collection.
Yeah, yeah. And
that is.
Go ahead.
Sorry, I just wanted to say, just to step off what President Henry has just said, that is very, very important, because I want to emphasize that even though we pay 25%, it's not a large percentage of taxpayers, public officers that pay tax, if you realize where the threshold is. So that for those of us who are paying, we're paying that 25%. So there is a need to step up the monitoring and the effective collection of taxes, so that we all pay our fair share. I'm in no way suggesting that the threshold should be moved. In fact, I could come up with an argument why the threshold should move higher, but that is not the purpose for that at this point. Yeah. But at least I need to highlight that. So the effective monitoring and collection and enforcement of taxes has to be at the forefront of the government, so that these write-offs and these forgiveness that they've been giving, nobody forgive me of paying 25% every year. Every year I have to file, and every year if I'm owed, They come after me. In fact, before I even get a chance to do anything, a deduction order comes to my office to take out what is owed to government. Why is that not being done for every single taxpayer out there? Right? Why are people getting write-offs? Why are people getting forgiveness when in fact we are not? These are just some of the equitable issues that I want to raise. I'm not saying that in fact people are not paying, but what I'm saying is that we need to be very equitable when it comes to the payment of tax. And if you're going to write off, in fact, this is not the time to write off anything, not with a $500 million deficit in the budget.
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you what, you've said a mouthful. Finally, for me, while we've got both of you on here, we know that there are a few unions throughout the country, and they'd like to definitely have some sit-downs with our authorities or the powers that be. Is there another proposed meeting, something that is together whereby everybody could actually put their heads together, all the leaders, so we could eventually propose some more ways of how we could get this deficit dealt with?
Well, I know that the team had met with NTUCB, which is the umbrella organization for all the unions countrywide, and that would have had representation from various unions coming up with recommendations, coming up with observations. I can tell you that based on what was told to us, I know we were told that there should be follow-up meetings with the joint unions, which is PSU, APSSM, and BNTU, so that in fact, since it is primarily our membership who will be affected if there is a salary cut. So we've been promised, and I'm not sure if Gerald can attest that they were told that, but I know that that is what we were told, that there will be follow-up meetings so that in fact we can come together, and we're hearing what is coming out of the three unions and being able to put forward a joint position, so to speak. For this to work, we all have to be in this together. That is the only way it is going to work.
Gerald?
Right. Yes, John. Certainly, I can attest to what Sister Fraser mentioned, and it goes back to her mentioning that the meeting was definitely a very amicable meeting, and it was stated that we were going to have follow-up meetings after that initial meeting. No. Whether we will be having those follow-up meetings jointly, meaning that the three unions would be present at the same time, along with the government side, was not made clear, no? But I would hope that that would be the case, simply to save time as well, right? And also in order for us to present, as Sister Fraser mentioned a while ago, a joint position on whatever comes out of came out of the government's position after that initial meeting, no? When after they present the discussion that we had to their higher ups, right, and at cabinet, no. So certainly the PSU is looking forward to having that discussion, and I know we are very much interested to see exactly what will come from the government side on the way forward. Hopefully, like sooner better than later.
Budget, end of the financial year is quickly approaching.
Yes.
And I'd imagine if there's going to be follow-up, it'll be sooner rather than later. So we appreciate you providing this update for us this morning. Of course, this is a very critical topic for all the families that will be affected. And we also recognize just the crisis that the country is in at the moment. So we hope that you guys can work out a solution. You were going to say?
Yeah, one of the things too that I believe we also need to get from the government is, and this will of course come in our future discussions, but I just wanted to throw it out there that the issue of what sort of relief would be provided to public officers if indeed there would be a need for a salary cut. Most of our public officers have some portion of their salaries assigned to some loan or some sort of agreement with some lending institution, and we would need to see what exactly would be the government's proposal to, to work with the private sector and provide some sort of relief to public officers, especially as it relates to mortgage, because we don't want to see a situation where public officers would then find themselves homeless, no? So I think that we will need to seriously start to think about that, or the government should start to look at what they would put in place to, to have those sorts of discussions with the private sector as well.
All right. Well, we're so thankful to have had you guys in this morning to try to provide to us some clarity, and of course to the nation clarity on what the current situation is when it comes to, with respect to the unions and of course government, and how we could eventually try to get this deficit down. Thank you guys so very much, and do enjoy your day. We do hope to have you back so we could continue with clearing things up. Thank you.
All right.
Thank you too.
All right, we're about to take a break. When we come back, you remember that case whereby some WPCs were told in their workplace, you need to get rid of the dreadlocks? Well, that went to court, but they came out victorious. We'll be chit-chatting to two of them along with their attorneys in the next conversation. That is when we come back. Stay with us.
Technology is ubiquitous, and it's transforming how, when, and where we work. Fulltech Systems is placing award-winning devices in the hands of information workers, allowing them to work without compromise in a world without wires, to innovate, create, and to maximize productivity anytime, anywhere, satisfying the needs of the desk-centric remote and field worker and every other worker in between. We are providing the industry's best devices to businesses going through the process of digital transformation. Partner with us today to provide the solutions that will allow your employees to work effectively and efficiently to enhance your customers' experience. Fulltech Systems, your technology center, where you'll come for the price, but stay for the service.
In these challenging times, the one thing that is certain is that the Belize Bank Limited is here for you. There is nothing more important than your health and safety, and we continue to make every effort to make banking safer for you. Our staff is working around the clock to make sure you can do your banking conveniently 24/7 using our mobile banking app and online banking, and keeping ATMs up and running. We value your relationship with us and are here to provide the support you need. First responders are also out there 24/7. Thank you, healthcare workers, security forces, firefighters, caregivers. You are all appreciated. Stay safe. We will get through this together. The Belize Bank, our country, your bank.
Abigail.
Yes, Gran?
Abigail, I can't breathe well.
Granny, we need to go to the hospital to get you checked out.
No! I'm fine.
Yes, Gran, we need to go now to get you treated. Now, before it's too late.
No, 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 no.
Grandma, we need to go for all of us.
No, no, no.
Stop. If you are having flu-like symptoms, please call us immediately for medical guidance. If you have chronic conditions such as diabetes and you are experiencing symptoms such as shortness of breath or chest pain, please also seek medical attention immediately. We've lost a lot of people this year. We don't want to lose you too. Please seek help if necessary. Call us at 0800-664-2273. Continue to wear your mask at all times. Keep physical distance when in public and stay at home unless absolutely necessary. This message has been brought to you by the Ministry of Health and Wellness.
And we'll be back in a few, so stay tuned. Thanks, Jen. Hey there, we know you have to head out to work shortly, but don't forget that you can stay tuned by watching us on our Facebook live stream. Find us at Open Your Eyes BC, and you can continue watching there. You can also download Facebook Watch on your streaming device, and you can watch at your own convenience.
And for all the behind the scenes fun, follow us on Instagram at OYE Belize. So,
find us
and follow us
today.
When someone you love becomes a memory, the memory becomes a treasure. Channel 5 introduces the Daily Obituaries. The Daily Obituaries will broadcast all death and funeral announcements and memorials to honor your loved one's life and memories. The Daily Obituaries airs on Channel 5 prior to the evening newscast, with subsequent repeats at 10 p.m. and 12 noon the following day. It will also be placed online on our social media platforms, all for a standard package fee. Celebrate their lives and memories with Channel 5's Daily Obituaries. Honor in life and reverence in death.
Back to Open Your Eyes. We're moving now into our second segment. This one is going to be a conversation with two of the police officers who were a part of this victory in terms of wearing your dreadlocks, being allowed to wear a dreadlocks in the workplace. In with us, we've got PC Aliyah Wade, of the Belize Police Department, and also Chantel, PC Chantel Berry. Guys, good morning and welcome.
Good morning. Thank you
Good
for
morning.
having us.
I'll tell you what, first, primary for me, you guys are looking very, very lovely. And of course, congratulations on your victory and standing up for what you believe in. I want to start though by talking about how this all came about. What happened? You're wearing your dreadlocks. It is a part of your beauty. Tell us what happened. Let's start there.
Which one of us is going to start?
You're already on the screen. You start. That's Aliyah. Start, Aliyah.
Okay, so one day I went to work and it began with rumors. It began with people throwing different phrases at us, like, "Oh, well, Chester winning now, so I'm better take out their dreads." So I never really paid no mind because that's how the department goes. A lot of gossip. In every workplace you have gossip. So I didn't really pay no mind, but it started to get like an attack at work. Like every day you go to work, you hear people mumbling, you hear people talking about it. "Oh, cut out the hair, do this, do that, you know? And it started to get frustrating and humiliating as well because it happens in front of people, civilian people, and you know, I felt away. Then one day I went to work and I received a call from an officer stating that he needed my presence urgently. I was in briefing at the time, standing waiting for where I'm going to be posted for the day, and that's when I got the phone call and they took me out of the briefing in front of everyone and told me that I have to go to see the officer immediately. And this was said in front of the entire the crowd that was waiting for their, you know. I was embarrassed. So when I went to the meeting, that was when they told me, this was only when they said it to me, you know. They said that you need to remove those things out of your hair. So that was where it began.
Let me step back a bit, because did you joined the department. Did you already have dreadlocks, or did you start to grow it when you were already recruited in the department?
I started growing it when I passed out.
Okay. So one of the things that I think is really critical is that you, when the decision came down from management that you needed to cut your dreadlocks off because they're saying that's part of what is expected to be in the department, 6 of you said no. What made you come together? I mean, how did you decide, listen, this is just something that we know we can fight and we know we can win? Help us understand that.
Okay, so 6 of us were together. And we came together because I can't understand, if I'm doing the proper thing and doing my job to the best of my ability, why my hair is a problem? I had it neat. The way I have my hair now is not the way I wear it at work. I wear it in one at the back. So I take it to the back and pin it up. It doesn't touch my color and my hat fits. So what is it? What is the problem? I see many females in the department have straighter hair than me, with their hair touching their color, and nothing is said to them. So why is it said to me? And we came to a decision. It is not fair for them to wear their hair that way, but we cannot. So we came to a decision and we stood together. We even made a group together that we communicated on, talked together and said that what we are going to do. And that's how we came together as women, black females in this department. Came together.
A question here. Were all of you contacted around the same time, or was it just you, Ms. Swain?
No, all of us. I was under the impression that it was only me. But when I got into the area that they had us in, that's when I saw all the rest of females, and I was like, and I was not aware that this was a meeting. I look around and I saw all of them, you know? So that's when I realized that it was more than one of us.
Okay. Let's get Chantel in. Chantel, tell us your side. What happened?
Well, like Aliyah said, it all started with talking, and we're hearing about we have to cut our dreads off and what's not. So, for me personally, I had encounters with the now commissioner where he had told me that he wanted me to remove my locks, and from then it's been, well, it's not gonna happen for me. So it's been a back and forth thing between us and the department. And later down the line, when he became the commissioner, it was a sending out memo saying, well, it's time to cut the locks off, or giving us letters. Well, I received a letter saying that I had to remove my locks. And from there, it was on to being disciplinary charge within the department for not removing our locks. So I decided that, well, I'm already this far into it. I'm not going to back out now. I'm going to keep fighting and, push for what I believe in. And so here we are today after our victory, giving this talk to you guys now.
Now, 6 women against the department.
Actually, it's only 2 of us that went into this court case against the department, just Aliyah and myself. Initially, it was 7 of us, but the others chose not to take legal proceedings against the department. So it's just Aliyah and I, really.
Did they cut their hair?
No. No
Okay,
one.
okay. I'm just making sure. But so my thing is, you get this instruction that it's against the dress code. I mean, I can hear from how you're explaining, that you're maintaining all the professional standards that are required to execute your job, but there's just this antiquated belief about what's acceptable and what's not that's holding you back. Not everyone has the willpower or the drive to really stand up against a system or be the first to stand up against a system. How did you guys come to that decision that you said, all right, it's not just saying to management that I'm not going to do it, I'm going to take it further?
Yeah.
Well, I actually started growing my locks from the age of 17, which was from before I started working. However, when I applied and I got accepted, when I went for my interview, they told me, well, the locks would not be accepted for training, so I would have to remove them. But after I finished my training, I would be allowed to put it back in. And at the time, I saw no problem with that because I thought, okay, well, I'm doing something to better off myself. So the temporary removal of my lock shouldn't hinder me from making myself into someone productive in society. Yes. So I agreed. I removed the locks. I did my training. And after training, I decided, well, I want to regrow my locks. And so I started from there. Then it just became like a problem. And I couldn't understand why it was a problem because there are other females who are in the department long before I have been in the department who have locks, and it never seemed to have been an issue from then. So I couldn't understand what the problem was now and why he chose to, bring this up. So I decided, you know what, I'm not going to sit back. I'm not going to have my rights trampled over. So I took this step. It was a hard decision for me. I'm not going to lie. I was afraid to do this. But through many conversations with Aliyah, with my mom, with other people who supported me through this, I decided that I'm going to stick it out, that I have to be a change some way, somehow. And I can't just be like the average person and just sit and say, you know what, well, this is what they're dishing out to me, so this is what I'm going to take. I chose to be something different from that,
So you did, and then Aliyah, of course, joined you in terms of taking this fight to the courts. Tell us about that, how that went, because it was 7 of you, 2 of you decided to stick that out. What was the conversation in terms of we're going to take this fight to the people?
Well, Aliyah, she...
You go ahead. You go ahead. You talk.
Okay. Aliyah decided that, well, Chantel, whatever you decide, I'm going with you. If we're going to fight, we're going to fight. If we're going to sit back and just say, cut it out, well, that's what we're gonna do. But Aaliyah has a strong drive of her own, not just because I was the one there saying we're gonna do this and we're gonna do that. You know, many times Aaliyah had to keep me afloat, not just the other way around. So she's been a big inspiration for me also.
Oh man.
Yeah, tell us. She's being shy this
Yeah.
morning, right?
No, I'm not shy. I'm not shy.
Go ahead.
But for me, I remembered when all the rest of them said that they weren't going to do it again. I was telling in a Creole how I tell Chantel, right? I told her, I said, Chantel, well, I don't know where I do, but whatever you say we are do, we are do. Because I know about to make them people that think that they go walk over we. And also we they do nothing wrong. There have many times that I have called her crying because sometimes it gets frustrating at work. People, oh, better stand down and stop fight administration and things like that. They would yell at us sometimes when we're at work, and sometimes I answer them. I answer them, but then not all the time you go to work. You're there in the mood for answer people. So I tell she here what we need for teaching people to listen. We need to do it, because if we not do it, nobody else not do it. Then they'll continue. They have generations after we will come and go through the same thing here and end up to get trampled upon too. We not have that. And that when me and she decided that we going go do this thing, man. That's how we do it.
Yeah. You know, I'm glad you spoke of the hardship, especially while the court case was going on. But then again, you guys struggled. There was a victory. What was that feeling like when you heard that you guys were victorious in this case?
I cried. I cry because we had to go through this fun. 2019, me and she, the battle this thing out every day, day in, day out, me and her. We keep our communication strong, and we the battle this thing. Whatever we had to make cry on each other's shoulder, we did it, right? But we just, that me a lot. So in 2 weeks, as both of us heard the decision the same time, I left shocked, like Wally tears dropped. I don't want nobody think of Lisa after, but Wally tears dropped the son, and then like I may feel good that I have she by my side, Chantel Berry. I had her because she's strong as well. I don't think I could ever do this fight with nobody other than her. So,
Chantel, your reaction?
I almost cried.
You cried.
I can't even explain the overwhelming feeling that I felt at the time when I heard the decision. It was amazing. The way the judge passed it down, it was said so beautifully. And I don't think there are words that can describe that feeling right now, but it was just wonderful.
Now, you know, this is an issue that I think we in Belize are just starting to scratch the surface on. And it has very deep roots into colonialism. When you heard the arguments in court, and I want to distinguish as well, because some people interpret it to mean that you would only have dreadlocks if you are Rastafarian or if you identify as Rastafarian. But that's not what's being argued. It is the fact that it is discriminatory, and this is from what I've read from what the lawyers have put forward. But essentially, it's discriminatory to say that dreadlocks is not an appropriate hairstyle because it goes to the core of the beauty standards that have been set from long before, and we've passed through that. So when you're in court and you're hearing these arguments, you know, what are the things that stand out the most for you? That when you now meet a young lady who feels that they are being discriminated because of their hairstyle or natural hair in general, that you can pass on?
Well, I can tell them that this is not something that is just happening today. It is in our history. It was just like, how would you say, in other countries, certain things are not practiced.
Yeah.
But here as well, certain things are not practiced or put into play. But now that we have brought it to light, it is going to be of importance. Back in the days, it was stuff that had to deal with or color, you understand, or hair type. if you're not straight, you're not professional. You understand? And back in the days, they fought for it and it was forgotten. Now it is remembered by us. So I feel good about that.
And as you said, I think earlier, which is a key point, it's not about breaking the rules, because you say the rules are it can't touch your shoulder, it has to fit under your hat, right? Your hair.
Yes, ma'am.
And you maintain those rules.
Yes, ma'am.
So you can have your style and still maintain what the standards are for code of conduct.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, okay.
So what's the relationship now within the department to you guys, being that you've been victorious?
Well, we still have murmurings going around, but I feel personally that we are more respected because now the murmurings are not coming to us directly. It is like more behind our backs, but people come to us. Congratulations, I'm really proud of what you do, you know. You stand up for this now, we could wear one. I even have females contacting me, like, Miss Wade, I'm so proud of you. People that are not my friends on Facebook, people that are not my friends on Instagram, contacting me, thanking me for standing up. Now I could wear my locks. These are things that they are telling me. Even females in the department are telling me congratulations, and I thank you for taking the stand because I don't think I could have do it. That's how some of them contact me and tell me, you know. So,
Miss Berry?
I could say this one thing. The hypocrisy is real within the department, because a lot of people that talked a lot of stuff about us are now coming to me like, oh, congratulations, I'm so glad you won, you know, a lot of things. But I don't let that bother me. I thank them for the congratulations and I just keep moving.
You know, PC Berry, tell us, you know, sitting through the case and hearing, you said that the judge was able to describe so eloquently why, in fact, what you were doing or what you were standing up for was right. What are your takeaways? What have you taken from this case that now becomes the lesson you can pass on to others?
That Black people recognize other Black people in this world, and they believe that we have to keep pushing forward and not live in those colonial days, as you said. And one of the things that the judge mentioned in the ruling was about colonialism, and she did say that, you know, we need to shift away from this colonial mindset that we have, because we're in the 21st century. We can't keep living in the past and thinking, oh, well, we have to uphold our, how should I say it, our masters' wishes as they did back then so many years ago. So for me, what I took from all of this was that I can stand up now and have a voice effortlessly. I don't need to put in as much fight as my ancestors have done already. You know, like they set that trend already for me. I just have to pick it up and keep going. And I wish that every other Black person out there that has some issue that they're facing would just pick up that same trend the way I did and keep going and keep fighting for their rights and not just give up.
Yeah, strong words there, Miss Berry. But a few times you guys did mention the commissioner and the commissioner and the commissioner. Since the victory, have you guys heard from the commissioner?
No. No.
Wow.
No.
He did, I mean, I think he said he's accepting the ruling, right?
He said so.
Yeah, yeah.
That's what I saw on his.
So what do you push for now? Do you push for a written change in the code of conduct, or you just are satisfied that now no one can come back to you and say that you can't have your dreads?
Well, you see, we can't really push for a written change because there's nothing in our regulations that stipulate we cannot have our locks.
Yeah.
So that was like our main weapon against him.
There's
no change really to make.
Yeah. There was a recent situation that brewed out of the Belmopan City Council where an individual was actually wearing her afro, and you know, it arose that this is not the look that they're looking for. When you guys heard that, what was your thought?
it's sad because we are, I can't say majority black in this country, but we're like a lot of us are of African descent. And so something like an afro or something like natural hair, it shouldn't be a problem. Like that's something we see every single day, no matter what part of this country we're in. So that should be like a norm for us. So I couldn't understand why that whole afro thing started up as an issue. I was totally against that.
And it was interesting that your ruling came out around that same time as well.
Yes, it was.
Yeah. Well, ladies, you know, I think that it was really important that we have this conversation with you. We wanted to see the faces behind this challenge, and very often there are things that have been practiced for a long time, not because they're right, but just because we kept on doing them. And it takes brave people to challenge the system when they know that it is not fair or that we have moved past those times. As I mentioned earlier, that we don't have to call you WPC anymore because you are PCs. There's no distinction necessary. It's the job. So PC Berry and PC Wade, thank you for telling us just a small bit of your story. I'm sure your journey is much longer. And congratulations on successfully taking this case to the court.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Well, we're about to take a break. When we come back, we'll be chit-chatting with Karen Vernon and Carlos Ferrote. Remember, this past Sunday was actually Valentine's Day. You know what happened that day? There was a big competition, a jazz Valentine special. The winners will be revealed when we come back. Stay with us.
In these challenging times, the one thing that is certain is that the Belize Bank Limited is here for you. There is nothing more important than your health and safety, and we continue to make every effort to make banking safer for you. Our staff is working around the clock to make sure you can do your banking conveniently 24/7 using our mobile banking app and online banking and keeping ATMs up and running. We value your relationship with us and are here to provide the support you need. First responders are also out there 24/7. Thank you, healthcare workers, security forces, firefighters, caregivers. You are all appreciated. Stay safe. We will get through this together. The Belize Bank, our country, your bank.
Love is a connection that should last forever. This February, NextGen is sharing the love with amazing promo deals for everyone. Reconnect or install with NextGen for free. Sign up for our affordable cable and high-speed internet plans and get 1 month free on your acquired service. But that's not all. New and reconnecting customers can now receive 1 month free MyTV subscription when you sign up with us anytime in February. Some restrictions apply. For more information on our promotions and services, contact us at 0800-222-5388 or via our social media platforms. NextGen, powered by Central TV and Internet.
Everyone is at risk of catching COVID-19, so it's important to quickly recognize signs and symptoms of the infection. The most common symptoms are fever, dry cough, and tiredness or fatigue. Some people may also have sore throat, aches and pains, stuffy nose, or diarrhea. But a few people have also reported pink eye or conjunctivitis, headache, loss of taste or smell, a rash on skin, or change in the color of fingers or toes. Emergency warning signs that require immediate medical attention are extreme difficulty breathing, severe constant pain or pressure in the chest, becoming confused, unable to talk or move, bluish lips, face, fingers, or toes. For more information, call 0800-MOH-CARE. Help keep Belize safe.
It's a fact that you can access unlimited services with Smart. Tired of being measured or cut off when you need to be connected? It's a fact that when you sign up for Smart's Plus plan, you get unlimited talk, text, and unlimited data. And It's a fact that you can sign up with your group of up to 5 members for Smart's Share plans and up to 40 members for Smart's Enterprise plans for unlimited talk, text, and data. Smart has the true unlimited plans. That's a fact. Be smart and live smart.
And we'll be back in a few, so stay tuned. Thanks, Jen. Hey there, we know you have to head out to work shortly, but don't forget that you can stay tuned by watching us on our Facebook live stream. Find us at Open Your Eyes BC, and you can continue watching there. You can also download Facebook Watch on your streaming device, and you can watch at your own convenience.
And for all the behind the scenes fun, follow us on Instagram at OYE Belize. So,
find us
and follow us
today.
And welcome back to Open Your Eyes. We're moving now into our third and final conversation for the morning. Like I mentioned, just to recap, this past Sunday was Valentine's Day, and last week we actually had a group in to tell us about a Valentine's jazz competition that would come up. This Sunday was an exceptional one with great competition and good music. Yeah. But now we need to reveal who the winners are. But we've got the folks in to tell us all about it. Karen Vernon, who is the organizer, Jazzy Valentine Special. Carlos Perote, who is an artistic director. And Yoelvis Medero Lunar, who was a judge. Guys, good morning and welcome.
Good morning. Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning.
All right.
Well, I know there have been rave reviews about the show over the weekend. People thoroughly enjoyed seeing some great music again.
I loved it. I loved it.
It was excellent. Excellent production.
Now, Ms. K, before we get into the winners, tell us about the competition, how it got started. It was a great one. Colors were beautiful. Music was phenomenal. And it was the Love Day. Tell us, how did it go?
Well, we were very satisfied, very, very satisfied. We had an excellent production. Of course, everything came together. It wasn't just one person or one element. It was everything coming together, the song, the artistic direction, the video production, the competitors. They were so happy to come out and play music. They were like, if this is what we have to do, this is what we have to do, so let's get it done. So everybody was excited, and all that excitement just came together, and that's what you saw on Sunday.
Yeah. Carlos, tell us how you felt. You were back in those pianos. You were in your element there. Tell us about that.
Well, I anytime in my element. No matter say no play, I anytime practice and develop myself, right? But the most important thing of this thing, what we do, is about demonstrate to people that talent no is enough. We have to make places and make a role for this younger generation of musicians have the opportunity to develop their skill. Yes, everybody talk Belize have talent, but what you do for develop this talent? So I think that is one of my motto. Not because I get old, because I still develop my skills, but I think so. We have several young players in Belize that are serious in what they do. Music no is only about one genre. It's about be professional and be dedicated and disciplined, and with all of those elements, your talent will flow more easily. But you need places where you can go and show that talent. So this is the Jazz Festival is one of the priority that demonstrate that yes, Belize has talent, but help them to develop that talent. So that is the way we put in place this competition. No? I'm very satisfied with the result.
Excellent. So, Yoelvis, you were one of the judges, and it was a competition. Tell us, how difficult was it for you?
Hi, good morning, everyone. I need to say that the competitors were super good. I mean, it was like very hard to get the grades on some of them because they were extremely good. And as Carlos says, it's not only the talent, but in their performance, they could show the discipline and the seriousness and how professional are they. I was actually very impressed that not only there were seasoned musicians participating in the competition, but also very young musicians, and that they did demonstrate how talented and how good they are performing at their instrument. So that is actually very, very, very impressive. Also, I have to say that during this pandemic, the Belize Jazz, I was kind of looking forward to the festival because it's an every year thing. So even though we're in the middle of the pandemic, I have to congratulate the team, Karen and Carlos, that did an exceptional work on Channel 5 at putting the production together. So that it allows people that look forward to this festival every year to actually be part of the festival, either online and from the comfort of your home as well.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Ms. K, I want to jump back to you. You're always in the loop, simply meaning that when it comes to these things, you continue to be top notch. You've seen the reviews and you've seen how things have skyrocketed, especially during the pandemic and where people are heading in terms of the platform of getting competitions on. What are your thoughts on the reviews and what are your thoughts of going forward?
Well, as Carlos stated, this is something that we definitely have to continue doing. We have proven that despite the pandemic, you can create a show and you can get an audience. When I last checked, the amount of viewers was up to 20K, and that was only on Channel 5 Facebook page. So many people shared it, so many people tuned into Channel 5, and there were people who wouldn't necessarily go to an event of the regular jazz festival, but they sat and watched the concert on Sunday. So we got additional viewers, we got more interest and additions to our social media. So it has created a buzz, and we want to continue this. Musicians need to play, dancers need to dance, artists need to paint, artists need to create. And we are creating an avenue for music through the Belize International Jazz Festival.
When you consider the fact that it was a Sunday afternoon, people could put it on the television, just enjoy it while, that was your date for Valentine's Day, John, yeah?
Yeah.
Great music.
Yes. Yeah.
It's one of the benefits of the pandemic. It's not all bad. It's
Yeah.
one of the benefits, so.
But let's not lose sight of it. It was a competition, and that was actually an opportunity for the finalists to showcase their talents so that they can enter into the competition. Now, Elvis, tell me, making a decision, were you there as well, watching the performances, or is it based off the final production?
Well, actually, I understand that Carlos and the production team had the videos before, so there is a submission process to get into the competition. But also the judges were judging based on the performance at that moment, the performance. So we have a grade sheet that comes with all the grades, and we also put our comments, and then the production team tally all the numbers, and that's what gives us the final winner for each category and in general.
Exactly where I wanted to go. What were the categories, you Elvis?
Well, the categories were the instrumental, solo, the vocal, the ensemble, and then there is a general winner for the time.
Oh, of the three categories?
Yes.
Okay.
Vocal and ensemble.
It seemed fun indeed. I'm watching how they're playing these instruments, and man, I wish I could have the bass. That's just my thing, But we know that everybody is anxiously awaiting who the winners are. So let's start by category in terms of Let's get to it. And the winners are,
in the solo instrumental category, we have in second place Tanya Cornelson. She played My Funny Valentine on guitar.
Yeah.
And the winner in that category is Anton Alvarez. He played Wave.
Oh,
so congrats.
Big
We'll
congratulations.
do the applause on this end. All right. Yeah, no sound effects, real thing. All right, so that's solo instrumental category. What are we moving on to next? Vocal.
All right, Carlos, you do the vocal category.
All right. Oh, this is a tough one.
Let's Joel do the vocal. He says, yeah.
Yeah.
More experienced vocal man. I sing good.
Yeah.
Only the show.
All right, Carlos. So in the vocals, the winners.
We had two competitors in the vocal, Shania Garnett and Kani. Really a tough job from the judges because then put on a music performance, but somebody have to come in with a winner, right? Have to win. So the winner is Shania Garnett.
Wow. Yeah.
This is Mystic.
All right.
We've had her countless times on the show, and we were always blessed with her vocals. So congratulations to Shania Garnett.
Second place, Kani. Very talented young girl too.
I know.
She deserves all the kudos from us too.
Wow.
Yeah, it was a very tight competition. Well, overall it was a very tight competition, but yeah, the categories were very close.
Wow. The colors are beautiful too, guys.
All right, so we got one more category to go. And this is for the ensemble.
All right. So here we go. And the winner for the ensemble is...
Well, there was a tie. Woo! Very exciting, yes.
Well, we need to do a do-over. Right to the Channel 5.
Yeah, if you put up a prize. So the tie for first place was between Loretta Pelayo and Alexander Evans.
Wow. Okay.
All right.
Congratulations.
Yeah, this is tough though.
Yeah. There was actually a tie. So second place in that section went to Richard Pitts.
Okay. Check that out.
That.
Yep.
So and that's Richard there, yeah.
That's Richard, yes.
Yeah. So we've gotten first place for vocal, Shania Garnett.
Yes.
First place for solo instrumental, Anton Alvarez. And a tie for the ensemble between Alex Evans and Loreto Pelayo. Now, we got one more winner to go. This is
all right, let's go ahead.
The big one. All right, we got to do the drum roll. John, you do the drum roll.
I think so the competitors don't figure it who is the overall winner because you notice all the participants are winners, right?
Yeah.
And only one person left for mention. But before I say the winner, I want to say he played one of the most difficult pieces in this competition. He played a range from Oscar Peterson. Oscar Peterson is one of the most important pioneers of the jazz pianists in the world. He passed away a long time ago. And he is known for write difficult pieces for piano, range difficult to pianists. And I think so he do a very good rendition of The Nerve of You. And the winner is Hassan Carvajal.
Wow. Congratulations, man. Congratulations.
All right. Taking a moment there to take in that beautiful music. You know, I have to ask you, as the organizers behind the scenes, you know, you put all your thoughts on paper, you plan, you get to the point of execution, and you have the final product. What does it feel like from your end?
feels amazing. You know, like when you start out a big project like this, you say to yourself, like, what am I getting myself into? You know, can we pull this off? And you know, you know, you definitely want to do it. You're 100% behind it, but you know, you question. There are little questions here and there.
Yeah.
But as we went along, and you know, we you know, people supported us, and like at the recordings, you know, the musicians kept turning up, and you're listening to them, and you're taking pictures, and everything is just coming together. And then we got the posting, and then when Rick actually sent me the video, I was like, wow. I didn't even answer him. Like, he had to ask me, like, what do you think? I was like just enjoying the show.
Yeah.
So I mean, you know, it's an amazing feeling to watch something like this come together and be such a success.
Yeah, Carlos, let's get your thoughts, your feelings, especially after such a production.
You know, honestly, the most important thing is that with who you work and who you related and how you approach to people and do this kind of stuff, right? And myself, I am a little bit tough in turn to work with people who don't have the professionalism and the capacity of do things more watching in the develop of something and not think about how much money I will make about this. I have so many difficulty to work with people that don't have the passion to do things. Just think, I will collect this money and that's it. And this is one of the most important things what the people involved to the festival have in mind. And that's why it's important. That's why I continue to do it for whatever year I be, so I will continue to do it until I can go no more. Because the most important thing of this year's festival is educate and promote our musicians.
All right.
This no is about we will make money for put in our pocket or nothing like that. We anytime struggle every year for make our commitment. Yeah. Especially when we have this international festival when musicians from abroad come to Belize.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a tons of money what we have to try to find for make the festival every year more interesting, with more quality. Mm-hmm. People have to understand, see, we don't bring people from outside, this festival no will grow. All musicians no will grow. We have to find musicians for abroad to come here and push us all musicians.
All right.
Show them they can do it, but show them the way they can do it. And that is the most important thing what we try to do in this festival.
All right. So Yoel,
and that is important.
All right. And finally, Yoel, this was a new experience. Tell us about it, and what do you hope going forward?
I think that you also have to understand the progress of the Belize International Jazz Festival. You know, if you remember a few years ago, as Carlo was saying, there were people coming to Belize to perform, and everybody looked forward to all the concerts, to the entire week festival. But it's been a couple of years now, and now we are in that position where Belize actually gets to show their own talent. And I think that is something that we have to be happy and we have to be proud about it. Because before we bring people from outside, but now you are performing with the same musicians from Belize that are as talented and as good as the international musicians that you bring over for the festival. So I think that this is actually a big win for everybody, and especially for Belize. And as Karen was saying, when you have the opportunity to do it online and you see that you have 20K viewers that before would not go to the Belize to see the performance, now we have the opportunity to show it online. Yeah. So it's a big win, and it's a big exposure for the jazz in Belize.
All right. Well, Yoelvis, Karen, Carlos, congratulations with respect to putting this production together. And we do hope for next year to be even bigger and brighter. Thank you guys so very much.
Thank you for having us.
Before we finish,
Carlos?
I hope Channel 5 continue help us in this festival with honor sponsor, right?
Yes. You made us look good.
Yeah. And the next project is in June, so we don't have to wait for next year.
All right, Carlos, I'll tell you what, we heard you loud and clear. Once again, guys, thank you so very much. Do enjoy your day.
All right,
thank you.
All right, so we need, it's always a nice time chatting with Carlos. But we need to take a break. When we come back, we'll be wrapping things up. Stay with us.
Our families, businesses, institutions, and the communities that surround us. Then by giving businesses the power to grow, entrepreneurs the ability to expand, and by giving our families the right to own something. The Belize Bank gives you the power to build a nation, our nation. Stronger together. The Belize Bank. Our country. Your bank.
Are you traveling? Effective January 26, all passengers traveling internationally will need to get tested no more than 3 days before you travel to the United States and show your negative result to the airline before you board your flight. Here at Caring Hands Clinic in San Pedro, we administer the antigen test, frequently referred to as a rapid test. Our products are CDC compliant and FDA approved. Testing has never been this easy. With our highly certified and licensed medical staff, we provide you with an accurate test result in minutes, making your experience fast, safe, and easy. To book your appointments today, contact us on any of our hotlines at 671-TEST or 672-TEST. 226-FAST or our Vonage line at 305-420-6203. Book your appointments online at www.belizecovidtest.com. Caring Hands Clinic Antigen Test Center. We're pleased to serve you.
Es un hecho que puedes obtener servicios ilimitados con Smart. ¿Cansado de que se corte la línea cuando más necesitas estar conectado? Es un hecho que cuando te suscribes al plan de Smart Plus, obtienes llamadas, textos y datos ilimitados. Y también es un hecho que te puedes suscribir con un grupo de 5 miembros al plan Smart Share y hasta 40 miembros al plan Smart Enterprise para llamadas, textos y datos ilimitados. Smart tiene los verdaderos planes ilimitados. Es un hecho. Sé Smart y vive de forma Smart.
And we're back.
Just like that, we are back and we're about to wrap things up. We want to say a big thank you to everybody who passed by today. We started this morning with the unions in terms of how they feel at this particular point. We're on a deficit right now, a financial deficit of about $500 million. And all we can do at this particular point is give our advice in terms of where we can share things up so we could eventually get out of this hole. So we want to say a big thank you to Gerald Henry, the president of the Belize, of the Public Service Union, and also Sharon Fraser, the president of the Association of Public Sector's Senior Managers. Thank you guys so very much.
All right, we also want to thank PC Wade and PC Berry for joining us this morning, talking about the case that they took before the courts. Of course, they have dreadlocks, and they were being told that they would have to cut it off, and in fact they took it to court and they were successful in maintaining that it was a professional hairstyle to have, and so it was a great achievement. We just wanted to find out more about the woman behind this case, and so their story, I'm glad that they decided to share their story with us.
Yeah, and finally for this morning, who said we couldn't have a jazz Valentine special and festival and competition during a pandemic? Well, yeah, we did, and it was aired right here on Channel 5 on our Facebook. Somewhere around 21,000 people tuned in, chimed in, and the competition was a stiff one, but congratulations to all the winners. We also want to say thanks to the organizers, Karen Vernon, and of course Carlos Perote. Thanks for Yoelvis for visiting as well this morning and sharing to us the winners of that Jazzy Valentine special competition.
Yeah.
And to you at home, thank you. Without you, this wouldn't be possible. Without you, we wouldn't be sitting right here enjoying your company. So if you've got any questions, any concerns, drop us a line at oye@channel5belize.com.
And of course, you can find us on Facebook at Open Your Eyes BZ and on Instagram at OYE
Indeed. You could join us again tomorrow morning when you wake up. Open your eyes.
To start your morning right.
As per usual, keep your eyes, your minds,
and your hearts open. We'll see you soon. Enjoy your day, Belize.
My romance doesn't have to have a moon in the sky. My romance doesn't need a blue lagoon standing by. No month of May, no twinkling stars, no hideaway, no soft guitars. My romance doesn't need a castle rising in Spain, nor a dance to a constantly surprising refrain. Wide awake, I can make my most fantastic dreams come true. Yeah, my romance doesn't need a thing but you.
Open Your Eyes was brought to you by the Belize Bank. Our country, your bank.